Hi guys, welcome to the first video in my very unofficial series. Up today, the 2025 NFL Rivalries uniforms. Now, in this ranking, I'm not necessarily rating how these uniforms looked just in the field, but also the strength of the concept they went with and how original the uniforms were. That said, let's get into the list. At number 8 and in last place, I have the LA Rams and their midnight mode uniforms. Listen, these are not the worst uniforms that we saw in the NFL this year by any stretch of the imagination, but they use what Union Watch writer Paul Lucas referred to as black for black's sake, where a team takes black and inserts it into their colorway in a way that's very garish and overwhelming. An example of this would be the old Oakland Athletics or the New York Mets in the early 2000s, and also Duke basketball. And also, the midnight mode stuff doesn't really work for me. The only cities I really give credit for having nightlife themes is Vegas and Miami. Other than that one, I'm not having it. I mean, freaking Des Moines, Iowa has midnights, but I don't want to see the Drake Bulldogs in freaking Des Moines Knights uniforms. That said, these are not the worst uniforms in the NFL this year, because that honor goes to the New York Jets and their Gotham-inspired uniforms. Listen, these are actually the worst uniforms that were put on the NFL field this year, but I do think that the Gothic/Gotham theme does work. And because of that, because I think it has one of the 2 or 3 strongest concepts in this field, it elevates it at least one spot for me. An example I would give of this uniform working would be if you look at Northwestern and what they've done with their Gothic uniforms. Just because there's a version of this uniform that I think looks good and I think works, I'm not willing to put them in last place. Now, on to number 6, and we have the Buffalo Bills and their cold front uniforms. You know, if only there was a Northern American city with a cool primary color and a warm secondary color that you could just replace with silver and then give it some wintry theme, maybe you could have something. Oh yeah, the Minnesota Vikings already did it last freaking year with their Winter Warrior uniforms. The uniforms aren't even old enough to be on Pampers yet, for God's sake. The silver doesn't really work for me. The helmet looks like you crumpled up a piece of freaking aluminum foil and just jammed it on the side of the helmet. You guys can do better than this. The theme I wish they would have gone for is the image of a snow on a buffalo and had some like snow on the buffalo on the helmet and snow on the shoulder pads. That would have been legit. That would have looked awesome. But it doesn't. It looks okay to the casual fan, but I think for people looking for something original and creative, this uniform just doesn't do it. On the creative but failed side, we have my number 5 vote, the Miami Dolphins. Listen, when the uniforms got announced last summer and I saw the themes, this is the jersey that I was the most excited for. I could see the image in my head. The blue, dark water, the reflection off the green on the jersey. It looks so perfect in my head. And then I saw it on the field, and to quote a nice young man eating a very bad Popeye sandwich, my disappointment is immeasurable and my day is ruined. It looks black. The navy doesn't translate. I think there's a version of this uniform that works. I know this should probably be 7th or 8th on the list, but I can see it in my head. I don't know if it's a lighter shade of navy or just my personal hubris, but you can call me Kate Bush because I'm dying on the hill that there is a good uniform here. We just don't see it. That said, let's move on to the actual good uniforms. And in 4th place, in the top half of our list, I've got the New England Patriots and their Northeastern uniforms. My favorite touch of this whole uniform is actually the red stars that go around the collar that represent the states of New England, because the Patriots can often be seen as a Boston team, but my mother-in-law from Maine loves the Patriots. The other thing that elevates it a little bit to me is the way that the fans of the team, notably influencers like Benchmore Brand, have taken to this uniform, and that matters because these jerseys are made for the fans. I think moving forward, we're going to see this jersey be the litmus test, where anything worse than this is a bad uniform, anything better than this is a good uniform. The Patriots followed the rules and did things right and produced a good uniform, but there's one team ahead of them that didn't quite follow the rules, and that is the San Francisco 49ers and their 49ers faithful black uniforms. Listen, when this jersey got announced, I was so ready to hate on it. I remembered how their first black uniforms looked. I was ready to trash this thing for looking like garbage. I was ready to finally dethrone silky Dave Chappelle Johnson for Hater of the Year. I reserved a spot on my trophy case for my Hater of the Year trophy. And they came on the field and it looks good. You cheated. You broke all the rules, but the gold and black, it just works. I would buy that helmet off of Green Gridiron. I would. I hate you guys so much. They broke the rules. It's a black for black's sake uniform, but I'll be darned if it's not arguably one of the two best looking uniforms. That said, it is a black for black's sake uniform, which loses major points in my book. And also the 49ers faithful doesn't really work for me. When you have 5 Super Bowl titles and you live further away from your main city than 3 teams that play out of state, there's only so high I can rank you. That said, you're in 3rd place despite myself, and I hate you guys, but hey, at least the Hawks won the Super Bowl in your stadium. I'm sorry to bring it up. That said, on to number 2, we've got the Seattle Seahawks and their high decibel uniforms. Listen, the Wolf Gray is my favorite jersey in Seahawks history, and I should like this jersey more than I do, but the sound wave thing isn't quite gelling with me. If you look on the numbers, instead of having the feathering like this jersey does, it's got the 12s on it, but this is a uniform where the whole is greater than some of the parts. What they did with the helmet was they sprayed a metallic green on top of the navy, and that worked really, really well. And then the thing that pushes it over the top, I know it shouldn't matter, but the Thursday night game against the Rams, where the Seahawks came back and won a game in overtime and went on to be Super Bowl champions, kind of gave these uniforms what the kids would call goated vibes. Just not good enough to be number 1 on my list, because that would go to the Arizona Cardinals and their desert-themed uniforms. Now, this is what I want from an alternate one-off uniform. These jerseys are for the Arizona Cardinals, not the Chicago Cardinals, not the St. Louis Cardinals, but the Arizona Cardinals. The speckled effect that doesn't translate as well in pictures works so well. And that touch of copper from the flag, the star in the middle of the flag, if you look at the flag, it has a little bit of copper in the middle. That touch on the beak, perfection. This is what I want to see moving forward, is I want to see a tie, not just to the team, but also a strong regional tie where you look at it and you know that it's that team from that place. So that's all I have for my ranking for this year. Going to next year, we're going to see new uniforms for the AFC South and the NFC North. So let me know what uniforms you're looking for next year, because I'm looking forward to seeing what they do down south in Jacksonville in Duval.